Hello and thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tonight I've got a fun midweek video using that basic fun foam, the stuff you can get at the dollar store, the pound shop, any kind of craft store sells it. You want the slightly thicker fun foam, not the stuff made for making flowers, just to kind of warn you. You want the slightly thicker stuff. I'm going to use up my ink cubes today. These will work perfect for this technique and this project that we're making. You really do want the smaller ink pads. The smaller the better. It just makes for inking a lot easier. So here's that fun foam I was talking about. I got mine in bulk from B&M in the UK. It was something like 20 sheets for a couple pounds. Now don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification. It honestly is what pays my salary. It's really awesome. It costs you nothing. If you like my content, I appreciate if you subscribe and join me. So on the screen, I've also got some removable adhesive, a black gel pen and a white gel pen, which are from Arteza, and some stamps, some silhouette kind of stamps. Now I'm going to use my stamp platform to do this project with. I've got my paper trimmer here, which I will link all the products down below that I can. And I apologize now because some of those stamp sets that I'm using today are not available anymore, but they are such nice stamp sets, I had to use them. So you want some sort of silhouette kind of stamps, and that's what we're going to use today. Something that is more of a solid, that's going to give us a solid image, if that makes sense. I've gone ahead and cut myself some strips, all different kinds of sizes, up to a maximum of 1.5 centimeters wide. Now I've got my stamp platform. The Tim Holtz one can actually just come straight off the base. So for the point of sharing it with you in the video, I've taken it off to make it easier. Now we're going to make sure that we are putting these strips on the correct side. So the clear side is facing out. The wording clear is facing out, so that the inside is the bit we're using, like as if we had a clear stamp, because these are thin. They're not big thick rubber stamps, so make sure we have the right side. Now on my stamp platform, I have a grid line on the actual platform itself, on the lid. If you have not got one, it's quite simple to fix. It's not going to be difficult for you to be able to still see where you're going. Just get some lined paper, pop it under your platform lid. If yours doesn't come off, it's fine. Just give yourself a bit more space to be able to have the base of it on your desk as well. Put a little piece of paper underneath and you can see where you're going. Now when I started, I was putting them quite close together, forgetting that actually I wanted to space them out so I could do different techniques with it. So at this point I'm like, oh, hang on, this doesn't work. So I took them all off, which is the point of the removable adhesive. Works really great. You can just pick it up and pull it right back off, reposition it. So I'm following the lines roughly on my stamp platform to try and get as straight as possible. But honestly, if you just went all wacky, it'll still look good as long as they're all kind of wacky. So this doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need it to be straight. I wanted it to be as straight as I could. You'll see in the pictures at the very end and my samples, they're not amazing, but it's fine. So I went up to the 5-inch mark because I decided to do some 5 by 5-inch cards today. So my panels are just shy, like 1 notchy smaller than 5 inches. And I think it's 7/8. I am never very good. Now I meant to do it on the left. I just like the left hand side. That's how I work. I like tucking it into that nice little corner there where I've got 2 ridges. But again, I didn't reverse it in my head when I was putting the things down, so I've just got to move it to the right. Now because the fun foam is thinner, we need to compensate for that, because a clear stamp would be about double the thickness of the fun foam. So I'm going to cut myself a little base. I've got a piece of black fun foam, and I'm just going to cut it to exactly the size of my stamp platform, which is 8 by 8 inches. Then I'm going to stick my sticky mat over the top. If you'd like to see how I made the sticky mat, what I did, that's in my latest video, which I will link at the end of the video on my top cheapo tips. So you can check that out and it'll be all there if you want to see how you can have the kind of grid lines on your mat for you. So here's my card base, and the little notchy smaller top panel, 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my card underneath my strips so that I've got a bit of my strips touching each end of my card. And then I'm making note of sort of where that is on my grid lines below. But honestly, once you start stamping down, you'll be able to see where your piece of cardstock goes, because it'll be inky everywhere but where your cardstock was. So it's quite easy to go. So here's my Nuvo Inks. I love these little ink guys. You can buy them in sets of 3, which I was sharing at the beginning. I keep the little cards that they come with, and I put my Nuvo drops into my Ferrero Rocher whatever, however you say it, the chocolate box, and then I store them all in there in my desk. Now I'm going a little overboard, and my ink is going across the whole of the strips. Obviously my piece of cardstock is not that big, so you don't need to go the whole length, but I actually did find it helpful because then I could see exactly where my card was going to go when I stamped it in there, because I'm going to do quite a few of these. I've gone and taken the trouble of putting my strips of foam in, and I'm just going to have fun and make a few different cards. And honestly, this was a couple hours sitting in my craft room. So I ink it up and I stamp it down. I tried dragging at first, but dragging didn't give quite the saturation. This fun foam is great because it absorbs your ink really nicely, and you can get a beautiful crystal clear look. So as long as you dab on the ink, it makes it a lot easier and better. So here you can see I've got those beautiful strips going on, and I'm going to turn it the other way. So you could leave it like that. You could leave it with just the strips and leave it as it is. I'm going to turn it the other way. And the way I'm doing my colors is I'm kind of graduating to the teal blue and then going back again. So I've got the teal blue and I've got green on either side, if that makes sense. I just liked how it looked. It was pleasing to my eye. It was a color set that I saw in a magazine on a different project, and I thought I like these colors. So I found the similar colors in what I had in my stash and did the same. So now I'm not even inking up. My next little panel, I am just pushing down and doing the second generation stamping, and you get this beautiful pastel version. So it's not quite so bright. And I don't ink it up at all, but I'm going to stamp it down 3 times, and you're going to see you get this graduation of color, but they're all the same color, so they all look really nice together, and you get a stunning, beautiful background with no effort. I didn't ink it, nothing. Now I'm inking it off the screen because obviously I don't want you to be bored watching me ink up every time. So obviously this is a new inked one, and I'm going to move it down a little bit, and you can see exactly where the card's going to go because I've got that ink all over the sides, and I didn't stamp it or ink it again. I just left it. So I'm doing first generation, second generation, third generation, and trying to fill up as much of the white space as I can, and you get a gorgeous sort of graduated color effect. So there's one with ink and one without the ink, a reapplication of ink. Now we can switch it and we can go on an angle, and we can get even cooler of a pattern. There's so much you can do when you've got just bog standard stripes or shapes. You can kind of switch up your card, change it around. Now, if I'd done this in the middle of my stamp platform, it would have actually been even better because I wouldn't have that top edge there where it's kind of touching my card. So if I did my little strips right in the middle of my platform, I could have probably gone for even more shapes and more fun patterns. But it was such good fun. I didn't want to stop, to be honest, because I was loving the bright colors. And again, this could be masculine, it could be feminine. Now, here to clean it, in my latest video I shared how you make your own cleaning spray, so you can check that video out. Again, I'll link it at the end of the video. And all you need to do is spritz your platform, and it will stain that mat, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything that you do on that mat because the actual ink is off, it's just stained it. Now you can clean these off and re-stamp with them using different colors, but be warned, it does stick beautifully in that fun foam. So you're really going to struggle to get it off, and honestly, if you're spritzing it, you're probably going to start to remove the removable adhesive. So I was just doing a little test run to see if I could go for a second round of stamping with different colors, and it was very difficult because I'm still picking up the ink colors. But I wanted to do the graduated Altenew blues. So this comes in a set of 4 different blue colors, and I decided to go with a standard card base, just one last one for the crack before I put it away. I've already made my lines all wonky from washing them, so you can do it, but it would probably be easier for you to stick to the colors that you're already using, and then if you want to do different colors, get some new strips on your platform. So I'm going to just pull them all off because it's removable adhesive and it comes off like a dream. However, I'm going to give it a good clean, make sure I get all that ink off. Don't forget to wipe underneath your little panel there because it'll drip through. Sometimes you can get that adhesive left on. With removable adhesive, you just gently rub it. If you struggle to get it off, please watch the video at the end of this video, and I share how you can get removable or non-removable adhesive off or stickiness off. So this is me playing around with my stamps that I've got and trying to work out what I want. Again, I apologize because some of these are not available anymore, and I did try to find them somewhere. and I can't. So I'll link what I can in the description box for you, and you can just check them out. But this is how I kind of do my panels if I want to change it up. So I put all my stamps on and then tuck them to the side, get my panel out, and then just do each card front as I go. Now, to make this really stand out, I'm going to use black ink because I want the show of the card to be the background, the bright colors, the beautiful designs we did. But I want to kind of add a bit more to it by adding in some kind of stamping. So if I use this solid black stamp, I don't know, I just find it works really nice. It looks really good together, and I always stamp 2 to 3 times. Mostly because my ink pad's starting to dry out a little bit, but I really like that crisp, dark black. Now, it looks like it's kind of gone, like I've got fluffies on my stamp or something. At first I was like, oh, why are these spots all squiggly and a bit messed up? And then I realized, no, it's just the pattern on the stamp. We're okay. Now, I didn't position it very well on my card, so you can see there's a bit of a line gap missing at the bottom, so I went ahead and trimmed that down. Now, if you've got a black pen or a white gel pen, these are my favorite ones, by the way. I have ordered my second box of these black pens because I've gone through 20 of them already in the past year. I use them for everything, and my husband nicks them like crazy. I've also got the Arteza white gel pens, and they are perfect. You can see them here. They stand out on top of the color. They don't absorb in, which is really, really nice. And I have tried a few white gel pens, and these are the ones that I really like. So I kind of keep one of these on my desk, and you can get them in a set of 3 or 12, depending on how excited you are with white gel pens. All I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of extra detail. I wanted to keep the cards quite flat. I didn't want to add gems or anything that would bulk them out. I wanted them to be nice, almost 1-layer cards. So I'm going to add in extra details using black and white gel pens and try and not add any more colors because we've got the beautiful backgrounds going on already. So that is all I do with the rest of the cards, is just add on all these little details, add on some extra little blobs of white. I don't have a clue what I'm doing, by the way. This is not my thing, but I wanted to add on a bit of white, and it really does pop off of the color. Now, quickly to say, I've got a Facebook group, and if you would like to join us over there and share your makes with us, we accept all kinds of crafting. You can bring your sewing makes with us, whatever you want. Join us over there. There are some rules, and you do have to answer some questions in order to be accepted into the group, but that link will be in the description box as well. So, as per my last video, make sure you personalize your cards and let people know who's made those beautiful cards of yours, because then they can come back to you and maybe find you. Maybe they want to purchase some cards from you. Who knows? But make it yours. And this stamp company, the British Stamp Maker, is the company I used to purchase mine, and I'm really, really happy with it. It is a perfect stamp. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my next video, or my latest video here for you, which is the one where I share my tips and tricks. Thank you so much for joining me. See you Saturday night.